Talk about that. What's new? What do you have to do to comply? What do the clients have to do? What do you do to help them comply with the regulations?
I think the basic reporting function of Form PF and AIFMD, for the most part, there are solutions out there. They work pretty well, particularly if you have all of the data. People haggle a little bit over how you define things. What's more interesting to me is sort of the operational impact that the derivatives regulations have had. People said, oh great, central clearing, this is going to be good safety and security. But the operational impacts of it that actually affect our clients' trading strategies, I think nobody really thought through and nobody really realized, wait a minute, I've got to be able to do some trades, paper still, I've got to be able to do some, and it's, it's cleared in a SEF, and in other cases it's central. And if your administrator and your own operations aren't set up to do all 4 different permutations of that and throw in European regulation in different markets and it gets even more complicated, then suddenly you've got friction with the front office. And so our operational clients are now really focused on, wait a minute, the execution of this derivatives regulation is impacting us. And the other interesting thing I think is that the reporting in Europe is very similar to what we've done here in Form PF, but they have much stricter sort of investor protections in terms of depository and oversight and ownership of the underlying assets. And I think it's only a matter of time before investors, at least, if not the regulators in the US market, start asking for similar types of protections. I think it's going to take a really long time. I mean, we had some conversations with a client that said, well, you need to make sure you can update us every month on any change in the AIFMD regulations. And I said, well, I can probably do that in Ireland and Luxembourg and the Netherlands and Scandinavia, but you really want me to do it for all EU countries? What about Croatia? What about Slovenia? What about Italy and Spain? The regulations are in a very different state of maturity, and I think for the fund centers, we probably will see a convergence. But the investor base is still fragmented, and managers will always be going and trying to find that edge to generate new distribution in a market that maybe somebody else doesn't cover quite as much. And so our job is going to continue to be a little challenging, I think, to try to keep up with the regs.